Hello, and welcome to my video series, Part 3, Trusting in God's Plan. This video is going to be about lessons learned from my accident. But first I want to say thank you to everyone who's offered their suggestions and advice to make this video a lot better and to improve it, and myself, which makes a lot of difference because I do need a lot of improvement. And this is the lessons I've learned. Have you ever felt sorry for yourself? Had an accident and felt lost? Had so much pride you could not ask for help? Been forced to ask for help? Wondered how you were going to survive? Felt alone and worthless? Been afraid to face the truth? Been fearful of making a mistake? These are all the feelings that I had in my lifetime. But being fearful of making a mistake was always a major problem. Fear of doing something wrong was something that I learned early in childhood. I had major issues with. In growing up, my mother was very emotionally disturbed. And I can recall where she would back me into a corner in my crib and say how much I hate you, all the while clawing at me. She would also come after me when I was in the kitchen, and I'd stand in the corner and claw at me and also keep saying, I hate you, I hate you. Then one time as a child, I did something wrong, and my mother came at me with a knife saying, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. Needless to say, they were horrific experiences and they frightened me terribly. In addition to my mother's dramatic behavior, my father was also abusive verbally and physically. Both of them made it known that I was not wanted and not loved. Needless to say, childhood experiences created a tremendous amount of emotional problems, both personally and physically and emotionally with me. And what I even learned in doing some extensive research, it affected my brain and how it developed in the areas of feelings and emotions. Childhood experiences can do that. Who am I? My name is Judith Juback Griffin. I'm a resident of Virginia Beach. I have a small business consulting company. I love being alive. I enjoy living every single day, and I have learned to live in the moment. This is my story of how I trusted God, and most important of all, the lessons I learned. First, I'll give you a brief overview of my accident. I was camping in New York with family and friends, and I was walking back to my cabin, and I tripped and fell on a bunch of rocks. When I fell, I wound up breaking my hand in 2 places, and which created a lot of problems. I was put in a full arm cast for 5 weeks, and an additional 5 weeks in a compression cast. And here's some pictures that I have, of my being in the full arm cast and some of the injuries. The main concern of both my surgeons, the one that set my arm and also the one in Virginia Beach, was whether or not my hand would heal and I would need to have the surgery and have steel plates put in. But this is what I look like with my pictures. Here's my arm in the cast, in the full arm cast. And you can't notice it, but my fingers are swollen, and it was almost 5 months later, 4 to 5 months, when we found out through physical therapy that I could use my fingers and I could move my hand. We were always concerned about that. So you can see some pictures today of my face and my arm and where my hands are today. So right now I can move my hand. It's a little strange the way it looks, but it works. 90% of it's good. Can't complain. So on that. But here are some of the experiences and lessons I learned. After the accident at the camp and back at the campgrounds, I went into my cabin. I laid down on bed and I cried. And I said, how am I going to get back to Virginia Beach? Would I be able to drive? How was I going to manage my life, my business? How was I going to survive? I asked God, what was I going to do and how was I going to manage the situation in life? And the thoughts kept coming into my mind. Be still and listen. Be still and listen. They were simply, I had a choice in this matter. I could choose to be happy or I can choose to be sad. It was up to me. I thought about it, prayed, and I said, okay, God, I'll choose to be happy. Well, the weekend was filled with long walks, hikes, fishing, 3 meals a day. For me, a book to read. We had meals and campfires at night, and of course, s'mores. Always had to have them at camping. Now, the listening part came into play again Sunday regarding my trip back home. And I said to God, what am I supposed to do? And it came back, the words were, be still and listen. My friend Joe came up to me and said, about driving back, why don't you take Route 287 instead of the Garden State Parkway? It's an easier ride. And I thought of that, and that was a good idea. Then a family member came up and helped me with my cabin. He packed my camping gear in my cabin and then loaded the car and cleaned the cabin out. That was beneficial for me. Another family member said, how about I drive you home part of the way and then you can go ahead and switch cars. It was wonderful because she drove me all the way to her house. I then got into my car and proceeded to continue to Virginia Beach. It saved me 100 miles of driving. It was such a great blessing because I was just concerned. It worked out perfectly because God told me to listen. On the way home, I stopped and called my orthopedic surgeon and explained what happened and that I had to have x-rays, within 7 days, according to the surgeon. When I arrived, and so an appointment was made for Friday to have x-rays taken. I arrived safely home, texted everyone that, I had arrived safe, everything was okay, and just going to take my time to pack the car. Now came the hard part of my accident. How was I going to manage? So I sat in my prayer chair, which I have, and I said to God, what next? What next, God? So I thought, and I just sat there. And then a reminder came into my mind. And God reminded me of a situation that I had 30 years ago. I made a covenant with God. And my covenant with God was something very simple. That He would give me the grace and wisdom to manage my situation and to look for the lessons I'm learning. It so happened, so I've learned lessons and I've applied that teachings and that covenant with God for the past 30 years. Every time I find a life experience that's difficult, I said, what am I supposed to do? And the answers come. I'm blessed. It so happens that I belong to a military group called Women of the Chapel. We are sisters in Christ and have an outstanding Bible study program and a support system. They saw my injuries and began offering help. Being a proud person, it was difficult accepting help. Pride is a dangerous characteristic. What I was learning was humility, love, and friendship. Pride is about my glory. Humility is about God's glory. What happened was Tammy, the president of the organization, began offering help. They offered help to do meals with me. They put in a meal train for me. I was given meals for 6 weeks at a time. They offered to help me with my business services, do laundry, wash my hair, do my grocery shopping. Even my hairstylist, Leslie, she gave me such wonderful meals. I mean, she made a shepherd pie to die for. It was outstanding. Accepting this incredible blessing was so overwhelming to me that I began to cry. You see, my personal limitations are twofold. I didn't feel worthy of help, and I was too proud to accept it. Because of the outpouring of love and concern, I learned important lessons. Take time to listen to God. Ask God for help. Say prayers. Develop humility and allow others to help you. Having too much pride is not in God's plan. Pride can be a dangerous thing. I am loved. I'm worthy of that love. Look for the positive in every experience. Believe and trust in God's plan. There'll be a number of topics that I'll be talking about in my future in trusting God's plan. My next topic is going to be a very interesting one. It's called the power of forgiveness and how it makes a difference in your life. There'll be other series that's coming up, and one is, do you believe in God? If you have a specific topic you're interested in or in questions, please email me at keynote.ny@juno.com or visit my website, judithjuback.com. Thank you for watching this video. And if you feel it's been helpful to you, please share it with your family and friends. Take care and God bless. Please note that any communications containing profanity will be blocked and deleted. Take care. God bless.